We're going up, up, up to the Upper Marae, where stories lift and voices fly. Put your tea towels down, let your worries fade. Open the gates, let the memories cascade. In this podcast world, we give it our best. So grab your cup or come say hi, no jest. We're going up to the Upper Marae, where conversations flow and spirits can't lie.
Mahalo Lele, and welcome to the Upper Marae, where we come together to talanoa about civil defence and being prepared. I'm your host, Whānau.
Tēnā koe, I'm Dr. Alexander Stevens II.
Mahalo Lele, Dr. Stevens. Let's bring this kōrero back to something practical. What does being prepared actually mean for everyday whānau?
Well, let me ask you a question, Siona. What does civil defence mean to you? It's not a laughing matter, Horsey. What do you think?
The defence of the civil. So I'm guessing.
Oh my goodness.
My assumption
Silly Horsey.
is going to have to be, protecting communities?
Yeah, and watching out. So think about civil defence as being part of it, is about being prepared when the unexpected should happen. About taking responsibility. See, and often it's in those emergencies, so like earthquakes, hurricanes, flooding, locusts, plagues, all manner of hell, and when those things happen, what do you have in place so that you and your whānau family can look after themselves when services are disrupted? Things like water, food, medication, and maybe a clear plan if you can't stay in your house.
You mentioned responsibility. Does that mean civil defence starts at home, not with the government?
Yes, so think of civil defence at home as the things that you're going to set up. So often in the first 72 hours, you and your whānau might be your own first responders. Do you remember, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, Sione, we had that flood in Auckland?
Oh, the flash floods, yeah.
Right? And I found myself on the road and watching the water rise and rise and rise and rise. And people hadn't got prepared, including Auckland City Council. Not a blame game, just is. So when I think about, defence support systems, it's about how do you ensure that, you've got something in place to look after yourself and those that you love.
Let's talk more about our vulnerable people, our kids and our elderly. How do we make sure they're looked after in a crisis?
So I think of preparedness has to include everyone in your family. So for children, especially our young ones, it can be really scary, right? So it's about reassurance, simple explanations, helping them to feel safe. For our elderly, it's about planning ahead, so making sure, and in fact this would apply with children as well. Do you have some kind of bag where there's medications available? There's medical information for our elderly. Do they have maybe their hearing aids or those kind of things available? And just making sure someone checks on them regularly. Can't wheel out Nano when everything else is happening. You know what I mean? You've got to, like I said, be prepared.
Now let's bring it into something we all carry every day. Our phones. People rely on them, but in emergencies, things can go wrong. What should people be doing?
Yeah. So phones are now critical. And we've got to keep them ready. So as best as possible, keep them charged. Have a power bank, a battery that you can then plug into your phone. Again, if the worst happens. I tend to look at saving important contacts. So I'd have your number in my diary, for example, Sione, just in case something happens to my phone. So I can just let you know if I'm okay, check in and make sure that you're okay, that kind of thing.
What are some other simple things our people can do to get ready that we might not think about?
So making sure that things outside, say tornadoes, hurricanes, that kind of thing, if you're given a heads up warning, obviously don't do it while it's coming towards you, but as best as possible, put things away. That's one of the things that we've done, with this, potential hurricane coming our way. The bins are, and our garage is under our house, so all those things are there. Do you have water? That's probably one of the things I think about. You should have at least 3 days worth of water available for you. I myself have got mineral water available because I always think well, put it this way, we went to the supermarket and there was nothing else, and I'm not complaining because I actually prefer that. So definitely make sure that you've got water. I have a little bag of emergencies, so in there might go my driver's license, my passport, mum's medication, my medication, ready to go, in case the brown stuff hits the fan. And preparedness, I guess, isn't a one-size-fits-all. It kind of depends on what your local risks are, so kind of tailor your plan to your environment. And I spoke about this before, but for children, just include comfort items. Make sure they know who they stay with, just in case you do have to move. And for the elderly, just make sure that their essentials are ready to access. And most importantly, include them in the plan so that no one's left out.
So it's not one size fits all. Depends on where you are.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that we should know?
Well, I two things, and again, it might be a bit repetitive. One, don't think you're going to get help instantly, especially if should the worst happen. It might just be up to you and your whānau in that moment. The other thing that I'm thinking about, if you've got insurance, is make sure that you've got those documentations handy, for when you're able to make claims. Other than that, stay safe and don't be silly and go out. A couple of years ago, Sione, there was supposed to be floods happening. Tidal waves, tsunamis.
Oh, and people went surfing.
People went surfing. People went to look at the waves.
Yeah.
Now, I looked at this and just thought, silly people, what are you doing? So
you put our emergency services at risk.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you unless you want a free trip upstairs, if you're in the States, stay alive and stay inside.
Well, that's the end of this podcast. We close the gates.
Very good. And we bolt them and we make sure that they're good to go.
Everything's held together. Whānau.
Mauri ora.